Another question is, why was Mr. Blackburn trying to avoid being served by Fat Joe?
Again, that's let me just speak. From my understanding, my client actually offered to waive service with Joe, and this again just shows even more why it appears as if this is somewhat of a setup of Mr. Blackburn.
Mr. Blackburn, do you care to comment about the previous filings that you filed in terms of court cases where judges were saying that your court cases were incorrectly filed?
Again, because of the sensitivity of this case and the close proximity in time with it, I don't want the prosecution to make any attempt to use anything against him right now, so I think he's not going to answer that question this time.
Oh man, so my had the tables turned, boy. Had the tables turned. Alright, so for the last few years, attorney Tyrone Blackburn has been a headache in hip-hop and in the courtroom for several judges, alright? But after being scolded by judges and the public catching on to his weird tactics and his crazy lawsuits, he's on the defense. He's on his heels after being arrested, following being sued by Fat Joe, okay? Okay, so who is Tyrone Blackburn? I'm telling you right now, even if you haven't been paying close attention, you've seen the damage that he's done. I promise you. Let me go over a few things I pulled up, all right? So, I know y'all know about him from Sean Diddy Combs. He was the lawyer for Lil Rod. The Lil Rod lawsuit that was crazy as hell, then had people expecting more from his actual Diddy court case. He's the person who orchestrated, fabricated, and exaggerated all those damn stories, leaving all y'all ass with blue balls because you expected more when it came to Diddy's actual real criminal trial, right? So in early 2024, Blackburn represented Rodney Lil Rod Jones in a highly publicized civil lawsuit claiming sexual assault, sex trafficking, and drug-fueled misconduct involving Combs. Lil Rod was only upset because of lack of payment for publishing. Lil Rod wanted his money. He was complaining about his money, but this dude seen the opportunity and exploited what Diddy had going on in other situations. Now, did Lil Rod probably see Diddy moving crazy, moving wild? Probably so. But it was a nasty tactic that he used to try to tie everything together to exploit the situation and undermining true victims for those specific crimes when it may be sex trafficking and other things. You know, dude was lying about underage children, lying about Stevie J being involved. And I know people may want to say, oh, Stevie J looks gay, so I know he probably is gay. But he used an image from a real gay porn star and put it in an actual lawsuit and said, this was Stevie J. And the dude that was actually in the lawsuit said, that's not Stevie J, that's me. Like, why would he put me in there? And then from that point, everybody knew that it was a bunch of lies. He lied about underage chicks from some party footage, and then the women that he was identifying as underage women came out and says, yo, I'm in my fucking 30s. That's me in that footage. Like, why is he saying I'm underage? Things like that just kept happening to this dude's lawsuits, and that's when I first peeped who he was. But then I realized he was involved in more shit, all right? T.I. Clifford Harris and Tiny Tamika Harris, all right? So he was a lawyer behind the T.I. lawsuit as well. So on March 1st, 2021, Blackburn publicly called for criminal investigations into both T.I. and Tiny, citing allegations from at least 11 accusers, drugging, kidnapping, rape threats spanning over 15 years. Now, he also filed a defamation lawsuit on behalf of Sabrina Peterson against the couple for their denials of her accusations. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I know based on personal conversations with some people that was involved, T.I. and Tiny freaky as hell. They freaky as hell, but there was consent involved in these situations. But this has been known in the industry. So what happened is T.I. and Tiny fell out with one of the friends, and one of the friends, knowing the situation was extra freaky, decided to exploit them and try to sue them. And he, hearing the back and forth online, tried to exploit the situation as well. So all the people who was involved in consensual acts, he then tried to take advantage of the situation and file lawsuits or whatever he can, but all that shit got dropped. And then you guys probably heard about the Nicki Minaj situation, all right? So Nicki Minaj was initially sued alongside her husband, Kenneth Petty, but the lawsuit against her was voluntarily dropped in January 2022. So Tyrone Blackburn represented Hall and publicly alleged gang affiliation involving Minaj and Petty. Once again, there was a situation with Nicki Minaj's husband where he was found guilty of rape, okay? But when Nicki Minaj married him, someone got the bright idea that the young lady could be able to take advantage of him being married to the superstar, and they tried to go ahead and get some of Nicki's money. I don't know who came up with that bright idea, but this guy right here was representing the lady, okay? And as I said, the shit was eventually dropped, and Nicki Minaj's team vehemently criticized the claims and pursued sanctions against Blackburn for alleged bad faith litigation. Now, most recently, you guys are probably familiar with the Fat Joe situation. I'm not even too familiar with it because I'm gonna tell you right now, when that shit first dropped, I asked, who's the lawyer? Who's the lawyer? And I found out it was Tyrone Blackburn, and I stopped reading. I was not gonna waste my time. I know other people got a lot of content off about the shit, but I wasn't gonna waste y'all time. You guys should know. I hope that I put my viewers on to game to be able to peep through the bullshit, so y'all don't waste y'all time with these things. So y'all know, if you see a lawsuit come out, ask, who's the lawyer? But nevertheless, in April 2025, Blackburn with former hype man Terrence Dixon threatened Fat Joe with a lawsuit and $20 million in demand letters, alleging ghostwriting, underpayment, and sexual misconduct, including trafficking in underage individuals. Sounds familiar, right? Okay. Now, Fat Joe responded by filing a federal civil suit accusing Blackburn and Dixon of extortion, defamation, and emotional distress. So Fat Joe jumped the gun after they threatened him. He like, nah, y'all not gonna threaten me. I'ma sue y'all. And then what you guys actually been seeing recently about Fat Joe, that was the response. That was the actual response to him being sued. So they are the actual defendants or respondents in this lawsuit, okay? Now, yesterday, someone was attempting to serve Tyrone Blackburn, okay? And he was arrested for allegedly mowing down a processor server with his car in New York City. So a rep for the New York Police Department tells us Blackburn was taken into custody Wednesday morning and booked for assault. So cops say it all started on the night of May 12th when Blackburn got into his vehicle as a 66-year-old messenger was serving him a complaint in the Fat Joe case. Blackburn allegedly slammed his car into reverse and backed up, hitting the process server in the leg and causing a minor injury. The victim reported the incident to the police. Blackburn's arrest stems from a messy legal matter involving Fat Joe and the rapper's powerhouse attorney, Joe Tacopina. You guys probably familiar with him from his representation of A$AP Rocky recently when A$AP Rocky beat that case, all right? So Joe Tacopina speaks on the situation right here.
This twist of him allegedly driving over your process server, how'd that go down?
You could take allegedly out of that question, but it went down where a 66-year-old guy who was hired just to do a job of serving a lawsuit on this guy decided he wasn't going to accept service. He didn't want to be served, so he took his car and ran into him.
How is he?
He's okay. I mean, he's 66, you know, not the youngest guy in the world, but he has some damage. He went to the hospital, he has some damage, but he's okay.
Gonna be okay.
Live, thank God.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. They issued an arrest warrant, and they arrested him this morning, which comes, by the way, as no surprise to me at all, guys. No surprise. It's just the latest example of his malicious and manipulative pattern of misconduct, finally coming to light. He really is an embarrassment to the legal community. This guy, it's a disgrace watching him use the court system to shield his extortionate tactics. Two federal judges, listen to what I'm about to say to you guys. Two federal judges in the same courthouse, Southern District of New York, have already said to him in writing, in filings on two separate cases, that he's misusing the court system to embarrass people, to garner publicity for himself, to misstate facts, misapply the law that he doesn't clearly know. If two federal judges said that about me and wrote that in an opinion, which is in our complaint, I would go serve espressos at Starbucks for the rest of my life.
I cover that, and I hope you guys watched when I covered that, because I was trying to tell y'all what was going on with this dude, but people were so caught up into the beginning circus with the Diddy drama that they didn't want to believe anything that people were telling them, which was the truth. All right, y'all didn't want to believe me. Y'all was going in on me for telling y'all the truth about this guy, but here we are today.
Don't forget how this went down, guys. This went down where he initially made a demand, this Dixon, to Fat Joe. He was a hype man, literally a hype man. Guy who jumps around and hypes people up. That's all he did. From 15 years ago, by the way. So he then said, "Oh, well, I wrote half your songs. Give me $3 million." And Fat Joe was like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" That was the end of that. So because they didn't reply to that, because he didn't get money from that, the next letter from Blackburn came saying, yeah, I wrote half your songs, give me money for that. And also I saw you have sex with minors. Like, wait, what? Where did that come from? How did that miss the first letter, the first demand? I mean, it's so pathetic. And look, we've spoken to some of the people he claims this happened to in the lawsuit. Unfortunately, he hasn't.
What you've discovered is he didn't, from what you've found, that he didn't vet these claims at all before filing this lawsuit.
Correct. One of the people don't even know who Fat Joe is. So anyway, this is all going to come out. This is why we litigate. But this today's news is just this. It should be shocking when a lawyer gets arrested. It should be shocking when a lawyer gets arrested for committing felony assault on someone. But unfortunately and sadly, it's not shocking with this guy.
It's not shocking to me at all, my guys. Now, to run it back, this was his conversation with TMZ right here with his lawyer.
Another question is, why was Mr. Blackburn trying to avoid being served by Fat Joe?
Again, that's let me just speak. So, from my understanding, my client actually offered to waive service with Puerto Rico, and this again just shows even more why it appears as if this is somewhat of a setup of Mr. Blackburn.
Okay. Yeah. And one last question. Yeah. Mr. Blackburn, do you care to comment about the previous filings that you filed in terms of court cases where judges were saying that your court cases were incorrectly filed?
Again, because of the sensitivity of this case and the close proximity in time with it, I don't want the prosecution to make any attempt to use anything against him right now, so I think he's not going to answer that question this time.
Okay.
Hell nah. Now, Fat Joe said this right here on this page. He says, I've been tested the last few months and I've lost my big brother, my father, my mother, and now I'm fighting against these disgusting lies, but please know I will not break and I will never back down. I've had individuals in my circle take my love and kindness for weakness, but how many times must we forgive them? I've had people steal from me, grow jealous of me, lie on me. Through it all, me and my family are the ones stuck dealing with the consequences of their bad decisions. If you get fired for doing something wrong, just take the L and live with it. But instead, they plot on your downfall as they watch you move on with your life. They decide to go after one of the things you value the most, your reputation. They figure they can make up the most insane stories, and if they threaten you with a lawsuit, then you'll pay and they'll feel like they finally won. Problem with your theory, I've never let anyone on the streets extort me, so how would I ever let a crooked attorney and a coward ex-hype man extort me? I'm from the Bronx. Mr. Tyrone Blackburn, attorney at law, since you want the clout, we will finish you in court. We will finish you in court. The time of lawyers using their law license as a badge to extort people and destroy families with no evidence is over. I'm not the one. You've messed with the wrong one this time. I think it's perfect timing for Fat Joe because we are growing a much more understanding of how these legal situations work. We are being able to call things out. The audience is growing with more information, and I'm glad about that point. And hopefully this carries over to other situations in hip hop, especially when the our black brothers are being accused of these things, I feel happy about being one of the first people to call this dude out. He was mainly responsible, like I told you, for sensationalizing the Diddy drama with exaggerations of the truth and creating the media circus. But now people are just aware of him and doing the same thing that I do when I hear about a new salacious lawsuit. Asking who's the lawyer. I need to know who's the lawyer. Tell me. And that right there will tell you everything you need to know. Now, I know hip-hop is not filled with model citizens, all right? We know that for sure. But I think it's disgusting for this black man right here to use his degree to exploit these people by using nasty gossip blog rumors and filing them in court cases. As you can see, his tactic is it doesn't matter what's the actual case, the actual issue between the petitioner and the respondent. They can be arguing about simple payment, all right? But if you had a rumor about you or he could create some shit about you, he'll put that shit into the lawsuit to make it as if the petitioner is a victim of a much bigger circumstances and they've been forced to hold the deep, darkest secrets of the respondent. It's nasty work, bruh. Nasty work, man. So stop taking this dude seriously. I'm telling y'all, please stop taking this dude seriously. And I'm sure I'm making myself a target for even making this video because you know how this dude roll. He done even hit DJ Academics with a lawsuit because DJ Academics was calling him out. It wasn't allowing himself to be used to spread a public narrative to help him force Diddy's son into a corner to get a settlement in one of the lawsuits. So he plays those tactics with bloggers. Gotta be careful with dudes like this. So hey man, let me know what y'all gotta say in the comment section below. Appreciate y'all watching this video. But in the meantime, peep this shit right here with Cardi B going crazy and spazzing on her fans, Offset, haters, side chicks, and everybody, and explaining the symbolism behind her new album, am I the drama? Specifically referencing the crows that she's using. All right, peep this real quick.